Today I'm painting an alien boss from Project Elite. This is the Gutslug. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. So this Gutslug is primed with Citadel's colors Gray Seer, because I will be painting this mostly, and if not all, with contrast colors. So this was actually the first time I used this Gray Seer primer, and I wanted to see what it did. So I guess that's why it's called Gray Seer. So I'm starting off with a mixture of Guilliman Flesh and Army Painter's Tentacle Red from the Zombicide Invader. Now, I could have just used the Tentacle Red to do the tentacles, but I want to give it more of a brown look and more of a wash as well. And there's not really a wash in Citadel that gives you this pinkish hue. I mean, there is a couple pink ones and there's some purple ones, and some people actually suggested online that I use the lighter purple and then do a flesh wash over it or something like that, and it would give me what I was looking for, but I'd already did this part. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing this on the tentacles that are coming out of its gut and the top of its head with this color, and it comes out really nice. I actually like what it did. So anyways, if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to drop a like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll know when other videos are out. And if you're interested in donating to my cause, which is to purchase better equipment for future videos and painting, you can donate to Ko-fi, and the link will be in the description, as well as it will be appearing on screen. So you may have noticed too that this guy has a lot of mold lines on it, and I don't have any of that green stuff that people use to cover those, so I'm just going to leave them there for now. But this guy has a lot of nooks and crannies to get in there, so you sometimes have to use a really tiny brush to get in there, so that you don't see this primer in the background. Because using contrast paints, usually you don't use like a wash after, like a quick shade wash or something to go over them, because this is a wash and a highlight at the same time, like in paint at the same time. So you don't necessarily want to use a wash, and then you're less forgiven for errors you might make. So as you can see, I'm going over again with a smaller brush to get some of the smaller details, smaller tentacles coming out of this guy, just so I don't hit anything else, because also it's harder to paint over contrast paints when you make a mistake. So now I'm going to be using another contrast, which is Flesh Terror's Red, and this is going to be for the under chest or underbelly of this monstrosity, and it's nice. It's not exactly like the artwork, but I still liked how it came out anyways. And as you can see, I have to get through these little like teeth and in where the pink doesn't touch, and yeah, he's got some fun spots to try and paint. But Project Elite is an actual really fun game from Simon Games. You face alien hordes. It's like almost like a horde style game where you prepare yourself. You have a certain amount of time, and there's a time limit, like an actual timer, a 2-minute timer I believe, and in that time you roll dice. You're trying to to try and search for equipment, try and get objectives done, and try and destroy the aliens before you get overwhelmed with a whole bunch of them. So, and then after that there's like an alien phase where then they come out and they start attacking, they run up towards you, and if they get to the end, it's pretty much game over. So it's a great game. Take a look for it out there. I might eventually do a review or a actual live gameplay of the game, so keep your eye out for that. Alright, so here I'm actually going to be using some Basilicanum Gray and some Guilliman Flesh, not together, but as a wet blending. So this technique is that when you put on a contrast paint, you come out with another one and you try and blend it while they're both wet. Now you don't want to use the same brush kind of thing, so you're going to want to change that up so you don't contaminate the paint, because then it's going to be this weird color after that. So as you can see, that Basilicanum Gray is mixing in perfectly with that flesh color, because he had these like weird looking grayish black hands, but I want to mix this flesh color into it so it blends in. As you can see, it gets a little bit lighter as it goes up on the hand, and I'll do the same thing with the feet here. So I don't know what this thing was before, but it looks like it was like some sort of human, because anyways, there's a part of it that has a head, and I think that's why it's a gut slug, because the slug comes out of the guts. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this thing. It's an interesting miniature. And when I'm done with the arms and the legs and all that, I'm going to be doing his back as well with this flesh color, and also with the Basilicanum Gray to do these two bumps. You might see them now next to his spine. That's coming up real soon on the painting, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now the next contrast color I'm going to be using is Skeleton Horde, and this is to get like the teeth of this thing. And now I could have used another color, but I find Skeleton Horde gets it bone looking and a little bit more gruesome. And I don't mind going over that Flesh Terror's red in the middle there, just so that it gives a more of a fleshy look as well. Now I do some of these little like teeth that are sticking out of its butt thing. But later on, when I do the color on top of it, I kind of hit those, and you couldn't paint over that. Like it's just the way it is. I would have had to put a whole new color, or like put some white or something and then redo it. So I figured it wasn't point. Now I'm using some Apothecary white, and that's for the head. Yes, that was the head of the alien, or whatever was underneath there. You can't see it much, even if you look at it real close. But you eventually see a human head there that's spewing out these guts, these tentacles. It's nasty. Now I'm using Volupus pink, and this is not one of the colors that people suggested. It was really a purple. I think it was shyish purple, which is a lighter purple than this, and they say it comes out good to do like skin or flesh if you put a flesh wash over it after, like one of the contrasts. It's not a wash, sorry, a flesh contrast. And I think they said Flesh Terror's flesh or something like that. Anyways, there's so many, Fire Slayer flesh or something like that. A lot of names. Anyway, so this miniature is almost all done. It's looking pretty good. There's a lot of details. Anyways, it was a lot of fun to paint. Alright, so I come back and finish off with that Tentacle red from the Zombicide Invader paint set from the Army Painter. And this is to do a dry brush on those tentacles at the front. As you can see, that pink comes out popping a little bit more, getting just the raised edges. And also do just a little top part there, just to give it a little bit more feel. So that's the Gutslug all painted, ready to fight those heroes in Project Elite. Have a nice day and get your miniatures to the table.